Hey everyone. So if you follow me on Twitter or Gab or Minds, then you know I've been talking this morning about an article that recently came out from the Daily Dot that I was featured in, and my favorite YouTube and BitChute creator was featured in, Sticks, Hex, and Hammer 666. The point of the article is it's really an attempted hit piece on BitChute. And just to be totally open in my response, this reporter contacted me, 3 to 4 weeks ago, a while ago, and stated she was working on a piece about BitChute. And as someone who had just started on the platform, could I give her some of my thoughts about my experiences? So one of the things you should always do if you're ever contacted by someone for an interview, as someone who used to do this, look into their background. Whatever site they say they're from, go visit it, go give it a look, go see what kind of articles they've been putting out, just so that you have a good idea of where this person's going to be coming from. So when I took a look at the Daily Dot before responding to this reporter, it's very clear that they're left-leaning, and so I had a feeling that this this was going to be the direction that she was going to go in. But she, of course, didn't disclose that to me while she was asking for my opinion. Knowing that that was probably the direction she was headed in, I made it a point to be very specific in my answers and in what opinions I offered. My goal was to state my own case, state my own opinion, but do it in a way that might appeal to people on the left, because I know that that's who's probably going to be reading this article. And I'm going to include a link through the archive for it, because I don't particularly see any reason in pushing any traffic towards this site. The article itself is titled "Far-Right Conspiracy Vloggers Have a New Home." So you can tell right there that the lean of this article is going to be biased against BitChute. And I find it very telling that she published this article without letting me know that she'd published it. That's actually not, look, I've been out of mainstream journalism for 3-4 years now, but back when I was doing this sort of work, and I was doing exactly what this reporter is doing, I had the same kind of job. It's considered good manners that if you reach out to someone for a comment, and especially if you reach out to someone and then continue reaching out to them for additional comments, and they continue working with you and providing you with their thoughts, it's usually good form once the article's completed that you shoot you shoot anyone featured in it a link to it. That wasn't done in this case, and I can absolutely see why. So this was actually published a little over 10 days ago. I had never heard back from her, so I decided to go on the site and see if it had been published, and it was. So I went ahead and linked to that on Twitter, and I alerted both BitChute and Sticks about this really... I don't want to sit here and call someone else out who is doing the same job that I was doing a few years back. But it's just a bad article, guys. It's not... I can't... There's a lot of things that she's researched that I couldn't tell you completely if it's untrue or not. What I can say for sure is the few things that she says about the Walk Away campaign are not accurate. She refers to the stock photos that came out that were debunked. They did not come from the Walk Away campaign. They came from a fan site that was trying to show support and did it in a misguided way. And she also refers to Brandon Straka as the mouthpiece for the campaign when he's actually the founder. That being said, I will say she did quote me accurately. She did represent me in the way that I gave her my answers. So I can't fault her about that, and I would assume that if she quoted me accurately, she probably quoted Styx accurately. So I would say, as an article, if you're interested in Styx as a creator and you'd like to know more about him, it's a really good, he gives some really good quotes. He talks a little bit about his background, where he's coming from, and he talks about the success that he's found on BitChute. And the one compliment that I would give to this whole piece is that she did manage. So what she was doing was she found someone on BitChute that is killing it, and like Styx is, and then she sort of juxtaposed that with someone who's brand new to the platform, like myself. So she got, my opinions on someone who's, honestly struggling to find a voice there and find an audience there. And I, as I said on Twitter this morning, I don't fault BitChute for that. That's not on them. That's on me. I'm the creator. I'm the marketer. It's up to me to build an audience, not them. So, in that sense, that it was accurate, but there were some things I thought that were a little concerning, and I'm just going to get into them real quick, and then I'll go. I don't want this to be a long video, but I think it's very telling that she opens it with, just how far can BitChute really stretch its freedom of expression mission? And I find it very interesting she chose to put freedom of expression in quotes, as if that's some sort of concept or, So one of the quotes I really enjoyed from Styx, and I think it sums up exactly why people are leaving YouTube, or at least moving away from YouTube and going to other platforms. So he stated, "I feel censored on YouTube, yes, but not as much as some people. And although I still enjoy YouTube, it's just a general feeling that the platform has begun to move in a very negative direction, away from independent users and free thought, and towards increased site policing and more corporate brands that we all started using YouTube to get away from in the first place." Exactly. That's what drew me to YouTube. And I don't know if any of you, I'm sure you have, but if you've noticed that when you now go on YouTube, if you try to search for something, all you're going to get in the results is mainstream media. Has anyone else caught on to that? Especially if you try to search for things that are considered controversial, or, subjects that might get a creator booted. Try searching for Parkland, try searching for Thousand Oaks, try searching for, gosh, she even mentions, she mentions in the article people who think the Holocaust might have been a hoax. If you try searching for those things, you're going to end up getting Fox, CNN, MSNBC, ABC News. You're not going to get people like myself, people like Styx, that are trying to offer their unfiltered opinion about whatever it is that you're trying to search for. And it's not... it's not just affecting us as a creator, as me trying to get my message out. It affects you as well, because you're not going to get accurate information. All you're going to get is the mouthpiece corporate media that's going to spin you the story that they want you to believe. They're not going to tell you the truth. So anyone who's on YouTube that's trying to get to the truth of a story, you're going to end up having a difficult time. So it's incredibly important that sites like BitChute exist. We need them. And this article it's frustrating because it's not surprising. It's frustrating because it's typical. It's typical left-leaning, establishment media, corporate media crap that they just keep shoving down our throats, just hoping that we're going to keep eating it and not say anything. So one of the things that she asked, one of the things she asked me that it bothered me that she asked, and I told her I was going to make a video about it, and she asked me to keep her name out of it. However, she actually quotes the question in her article and provides my answer, which I appreciate. But since she went ahead and did that, there's no reason to keep it anonymous. So she tried to make a little, in my opinion, a little bit of a dig that how do I explain this? Like, how do I reconcile myself as a mental health advocate as also being someone who is a Trump voter? So let that sink in, that somehow my work trying to advocate for people who live with mental health conditions and trying to convince people not to kill themselves, that somehow the fact that I also believe in free speech and I also believe in some of Trump's policies, that those positions somehow are in conflict with each other. So the response that I gave to her, and I honestly didn't think she was going to print it because this was directly for all the leftists out there, and I'm thank you for printing this. But I said it's a shame if someone feels that way. Anyone who believes another person is responsible for their own mental health does themselves a disservice. And I think I am going to make a longer video about that because I'm running out of time, and I don't want to take up, the focus of this is on this very badly done article, but mainly I'll say this. Look, it is not BitChute's responsibility to police your internet experience. It's not Twitter's responsibility. It's not YouTube's, even though both of those last two platforms feel like it is. It is no one else's responsibility how you conduct yourself on the internet. So there's something called a block feature. There's also a way you can mute people. You can unfollow them. You can scroll past when you see an opinion that you don't like. That's the amazing thing about America, is that we're all allowed to say whatever we want for the most part, although a lot of us now have to do some self-censorship on sites like YouTube. But the beauty of BitChute and Gab and Minds is these are like our last, God, I hate to say the word. These are like the last safe spaces for conservatives. And it's really sad that I have to say that. But, so no one else is responsible for your internet experience. That's what I'll say. And that's what this whole article is about. It's trying to lay blame on BitChute for the users that they have on their platform. So I'll close with this. Her closing, one of her closing sentiments. It's clear freedom of expression, this time it wasn't in quotes. It's clear freedom of expression often means freedom to espouse racist, hateful views. Yes, it does. On sites like BitChute, Twitter, YouTube, and Gab, that often happens without consequence. And that's their mindset. That's the mindset that I'm going to leave you guys with, is that somehow freedom of expression, freedom of thought, somehow that should incur consequences for you. If you don't think like they do, if you're not in line with, journalists like people over at the Daily Dot or Huffington Post, where I used to contribute, if you don't fall lockstep in line with every single thing that they think about the world and social justice, then you're a racist, you're a Nazi, you're a bigot, you're a white supremacist. I'm going to close this out with just one last quick observation. How telling is it that in an entire article that is supposed to be about how BitChute is being overrun by white supremacists, so you decide to interview two people that are on BitChute, neither one of them has ever been a white supremacist. Neither one of them supports white supremacy. So your entire article is meaningless if you can't find one person that you could highlight and who's willing to say something about the work they do. So instead, it's just a whole bunch of word vomit and links and very manipulative photoshopped screenshots they've done to make BitChute look bad. And the only two people you could find to contribute are two people who love the site and have nothing but positive things to say about it. So there you go. I'll have a link in the Internet Archive. I'll also have a link to Styx's response to this same article. And I will say it was an honor. It was an honor to be included in the same in the same article. He is my favorite creator. And so if anything can come from this, it's that, hey, I get to say I was in an article with Styx, even though that article was a whole bunch of bull.